Hey guys, how's it going? Today we're going to do an unboxing and overview of the VAIO SX12. So I haven't done a video about a VAIO product in a very long time, not since 2016. I think the last time I did a video was the VAIO S, and that video got pretty popular. So I decided maybe to give VAIO another try. So the SX12 actually came out last year. I've been meaning to do a video on it. I just haven't had the time to actually get the funds and get a review unit sent in, but finally I got one. And for those of you who don't know, VAIO is a Japanese corporation that took over Sony's line of VAIO computers. So most people think of VAIO still as a Sony company, but Sony divested themselves of the VAIO brand for quite a while now. I think for about like 6 years they got rid of it, and way back in 2014, and another Japanese company, VAIO Corporation, got the brand off of them, took over all the manufacturing. It's still all made in Japan, so it's now become more of a premium line of business-oriented and focused machines. What I like about VAIO is that just like a lot of other Japanese laptops, which are getting like kind of harder and harder to find these days, they focus a lot on keeping the ports on the laptop, because these days we see a lot of machines getting slimmer, thinner, getting rid of a lot of the ports. Even the business laptops, right? Even ThinkPads, HP EliteBooks, Dell Latitudes, we see them getting thinner, getting more consumerized, if you will. And what I like about Japanese companies like Panasonic and Fujitsu and NEC and VAIO is that they keep a lot of those ports still, and I think it's really good for business users. And pretty much if you want a notebook, that can connect to a lot of things, now basically Japanese laptops are the way to go. But the problem is that Japanese laptops are not very popular anymore. Like VAIO, for example, they haven't done much marketing in the US at all, and most people I know don't even know that VAIO still exists, that they still make laptops. Well, they don't even know that this company, is an independent company now. It's not part of Sony or anything. So anyways, I'm just gonna do an unboxing and just show you guys about the SX12, which I think is a really cool laptop because it's so small, so portable, and so light. So first of all, this is what came in the box. This is a thank you card, and then on the back, just like what I got with the VAIO S way back in 2016, it comes with the same kind of card here. Craftsmanship from Azumino, Japan. The VAIO PC has successfully completed, I guess, QA checking and everything. So this, I believe, VAIO laptops are still made in Japan, which is very impressive, because most laptops, like even the MacBooks, right, and MacBooks are really expensive, but even gaming laptops, really premium, expensive laptops are still all made in China, right? So VAIO and a lot of other Japanese laptops, even though they're not that popular in the US or well known, I think they're still made in Japan. So I think that is something that kind of differentiates VAIO from other laptops. Still made in Japan, not made in China, which is pretty interesting. Limited this to the warranty, and then we have the startup guide, of course. I'm not going to go too into that because you guys all know how to use a computer. I don't really need to have a manual on how to turn on a laptop. I haven't been living in a cave for the last 20 years. So, all right, this is the box. It's plain black. Now, they did have a variety of color options, and I chose the silver version. They all correspond with different specs. So I'm just gonna open this bad boy up. All right, so it's pretty minimalist packaging, right? And then it comes in this white sleeve here. All right, so I got the silver model. The silver model is kind of their second from the bottom model. So I think the cheapest model is a pink model, and I didn't want to get the pink one because that's a very feminine color. So I went for the silver one, which is kind of a more plain but very common color among premium laptops. And they all come with different configurations. So the silver version comes with a Core i5-8265U. That's right. This is the previous gen VAIO SX12. They updated the new gen with 10th gen CPUs, as they should, right? The new Ice Lake CPUs. But this is the older generation that came out last year with the 8th gen CPUs. 8 gigs of RAM, 512 gigabyte SSD, Windows 10 Pro, because it's geared towards business people, and a 12.5-inch full HD display, no touchscreen or anything. So what's really unique about this laptop is how light it is. So this laptop, first of all, very, very small, right? It's a 12.5 inch display, so it's a 12 incher. And you know, most of the time I'm used to dealing with 13 inches, 14 inches maybe on most portable laptops, but 12 inches, very, very small. And just the weight, wow, this is insanely light, right? It feels like almost like I'm holding like a magazine, I guess. Yeah, it's about the same weight as a small magazine. It's like 2 pounds, right? So 2 pounds, very, very light. Just feels like holding a small magazine. So that's what I really like about the VAIO. Is extremely light and very business friendly, because I'm going to show you the ports as well. So despite the fact that this laptop is so small and so light, they managed to pack a lot of ports into it, right? So really, really good for business users. So here we go. Okay, so on the left side here we have the AC adapter jack. Then we have two USB 3.1, that's USB-A ports. So really good for, still very useful, right? Most accessories still connect via the normal USB-A port. And then headphone jack right here. So that's already 3 ports on this side. And then you get another 6 ports on the right side here. Pretty amazing. So on the right side, you get a full-size SD card slot. No micro SD here, you get the full size. Really useful. And then another USB-A port and a Thunderbolt 3 port. Yep, so it's also USB-C and Thunderbolt. And a full-size HDMI and a full-size Ethernet jack, which we don't really see much, especially on ultra portables, and a VGA port. So this is really, really useful for legacy connections. And you might be wondering, why have a VGA port at all? Well, I guess in Asia, right, especially in Japan, a lot of laptops still come with VGA ports because they're still widely used, right? You gotta remember, right, we don't realize this because most people, they just focused on what's available in America. But if you go travel internationally, you know, a lot of companies, they still use a lot of legacy stuff. Like especially in Asia, we talk about doing business internationally. A lot of companies over there still use Windows XP, believe it or not. Windows 7, right? And they use VGA projectors. So it's still a thing. And especially if you're traveling internationally and you're going to like Japan, Korea, China, you still find a lot of VGA connectors. So I get why VAIO did this as a Japanese company, right? To please those Japanese businessmen. But wow, very, very incredible. Nothing at the back. It's just pretty nice aluminum finish at the back here. Very shiny. But yeah, I just can't believe how light this is and how portable it is. Okay, so give you a comparison. Right. So this is a 13.3 inch laptop, and then this is my Google Pixel Book. My Google Pixel Book is a 12.4 inch laptop, right? It's a 3x2 display. So you can see already, this is a 2.4 pound laptop, so already pretty light, right? And you can see much smaller than the Porsche design. Now, the VAIO SX12, 12.5 inches, and just see how small this laptop really is, right? And the Pixel Book is a 12-inch laptop, right? This is a 12-inch laptop, 2.4 pounds. The VAIO, even smaller, even lighter, 12.5 inches. Same display size, actually. I don't think it's too different from the Pixel Book, besides the fact that they're different aspect ratios. But basically same display size, but it's lighter than the Pixel Book, right? Pixel Book's 2.4, this is 2 pounds, and it's smaller. You can see the volume, right? Still way smaller. So pretty amazing what VAIO has done here, right? I would say that this laptop here is the smallest, most lightest, full-size laptop that you can get on the market right now. I know those seems like pretty big words to say, but find me a laptop, like a full-size one. I'm not talking about like netbooks or UMPCs, right? I'm not talking about the GPD P2 Max or things like that. I'm talking about a full-size laptop. I don't think there's any full-size laptop that's smaller and lighter than the VAIO SX12 right now. It's just tiny, and it's 2 pounds, right? So I don't think there's a full-size laptop that's actually smaller and lighter than this one. So pretty amazing. So hats off to VAIO for that. I think a lot of Japanese companies, they focus on the size and the portability and the business-friendly features such as the ports. So really got to appreciate them for that. All right, so let's actually open this up. And you can see that the laptop actually lifts up, right? So this is because there's the display here actually creates an angle here. So I guess this is for ergonomics, right? So you have a tilted keyboard. You can rest your palms here and you have a tilted keyboard when you're typing, which is supposedly more ergonomical. So this is display that lifts up, and I think a lot of so this is a display that lifts up, and I think some other laptop makers do this too. I think Asus does this too. Some other laptops do, anyways. And it's supposedly more comfortable and more ergonomic, but it's pretty cool that they did this. This is a full 6-row keyboard. So yeah, this keyboard is definitely not bad. I'm not going to say it's the best keyboard I've ever used, but it's not the worst either. It's not the 2016 MacBook Pro. It's not the Dell XPS 13 with the maglev keyboard. There's definitely some travel here, and I think you'll definitely appreciate this keyboard. I think most people will. I'm not talking about we're not talking about like a mechanical keyboard. We're not talking about a gaming keyboard here. But as far as ultrabooks are concerned, I think most people will be satisfied with this keyboard, and I think I like it a little bit better than the one on my Pixelbook as well. Yeah, maybe it's pretty similar to the one on the Surface laptops, right? Which is pretty good. There's definitely nothing to complain about with this keyboard. Not a lot of flex. I think this laptop is pretty solid. Yep. So this laptop is advertised towards business users, but it's not been military standard 810G certified like the EliteBooks or the ThinkPads or the Latitudes are. So I'm not sure exactly how much abuse that this laptop can take. I will say that VAIO, their laptops generally focus on the ports and the lightness, the portability, and I think they do have a leg up compared to the EliteBooks, ThinkPads, and Latitudes in this area, because like I said, these days, even business laptops, right, made by Lenovo and Dell and HP, they tend to get more consumerized, right? So I've seen the latest ThinkPads, the latest Latitudes and EliteBooks. They're getting more and more consumerized. They're sacrificing a lot of their ports to make their laptops thinner. They're adding consumer features like higher resolution screens and stuff like that business users I don't think really care too much about, right? As business users, like, we don't care so much about higher resolution screens or the slimness of the laptop. We do care about stuff like a really good keyboard and having a lot of ports, right? And security, things like that. So I think VAIO does do pretty well in that aspect, right? And I do think that VAIO's laptops, especially the SX12, is very, very competitive with any business laptop from the major makers in terms of what you get for the features for the price, right? This laptop, I think you can get it right now for about, this is the previous generation, so it's going to be cheaper. You can get this one for about $1,100, maybe $1,200. 8th gen processor because of vPro, right? vPro just came out on the 10th gen processors. So the new ones just came out. But talking about last year, 9th gen CPUs never had vPro, right? And so that's why you never see any 9th gen CPUs in business laptops. But yeah, that's why this one has the 8th gen processor in it, which I think is still good enough, right? Yeah, Coffee Lake refresh, still good enough for today's tasks, right? You're not going to play games on this thing, being that this is a business-oriented laptop, right? So you're not expecting a very powerful GPU or anything inside of it. Obviously, it's integrated graphics and everything. But that's pretty par for the course for a business laptop and a business ultra-portable, especially like this one, right? So yeah, I really do like the build quality on the VAIO SX12. Again, not sure how much abuse it will handle because it doesn't have those military standard certifications, but at least in their advertising, VAIO says that it can handle a lot of stress tests. So we'll have to wait until the real world conditions to find out more. And one other thing is the touchpad here is a pretty small touchpad, so it's a throwback touchpad here. We're kind of used to the bigger ones, but again, if you're buying a VAIO, you're kind of into the throwback kind of laptop. You're longing for a laptop that takes you back to the days of 2012, 2013 maybe, where laptops didn't have gigantic oversized trackpads. Thanks to Apple, by the way, for starting that trend. And we want actual physical dedicated buttons for your trackpad, right? So these days, again, thanks to Apple, most manufacturers, even the business laptops, they switched to touchpads with built-in clickers, right? But some of us, we prefer to have the dedicated clickers, the dedicated left and right buttons here, and VAIO gives us that. So again, for those of you who want that throwback, here you go, right? Physical buttons here, very small touchpad. You do get the modernized features here, like the fingerprint sensor, right? That's been in business laptops for a very long time, actually. But this is one of the better fingerprint sensors. It's not using the old school swiping style, right? This is using the newer style. So this works with Windows Hello. It has Windows Hello, so it's going to work pretty well, I think. And then you have the power light indicator right here. You might think that's not a big deal, but again, it's a throwback feature, right? These days, a lot of laptops don't even have status indicator lights anymore. So I'm pointing this out as another throwback feature that the VAIO SX12 has. Right, these days, yeah, you don't even see status indicator lights anymore, so at least it has a power on light. But yeah, the keyboard's pretty nice. The display here is a matte display, not a glossy display, so again, that's really good for business users. And I like the fact that there's not much bezels here, so the side bezels are pretty minimal. The bottom bezel is also pretty minimal. There is a top bezel, but it's because it has a webcam. So you can see there's a webcam, and that's to be expected because this is for business users who are most likely going to use Skype or Zoom for video conferencing and meetings and stuff like that. Also, the keyboard is edge-to-edge keyboard here. So again, I'm really liking the retro aspect of this laptop. So props to Japanese companies for keeping the old school laptop design aesthetic alive here. Yeah, I think the reason why this laptop is so light might be because it's using magnesium or a magnesium alloy. So I don't know why more PC makers don't try to use this material, because this seems very, very firm, right? This material is both very light and also seems very durable. So I don't know why more PC makers don't use it. I do like the material. And yes, this is a cleaning cloth, by the way, that it came with. It wasn't just some sheet that was covering the keyboard. And I haven't talked about the charger yet, but this is the AC adapter it comes with. It's a pretty small one, fairly portable, and it's a barrel connector. So unfortunately, no USB-C charging on here. I think VAIO really missed out on an opportunity to make this USB-C charging compatible, because that would have made it even more portable, right? Because you can just charge it from any battery pack, or it's just easier to find a USB-C charging cable. So I feel like that's the next improvement that VAIO could do on the next models, is to add USB-C charging. I do think that this is one of the laptops that personally I would use a lot, because first of all, I really like laptops that are super light, because I think weight is more important to me than the thinness, right? Because when you go traveling, especially this laptop for business users, right, who go traveling a lot, the weight is more important than the thickness, right? You would rather have a laptop that's like 1 pound lighter than, you know, some 0.5 inches thicker or thinner or something like that, right? It's just more useful when you're traveling, right? You don't want to carry something too heavy in your backpack. So this laptop definitely, like I said, one of the lightest laptops, if not the lightest, ultra portable on the market right now. Maybe the LG Gram. I'm not really sure if the LG Gram gets down to exactly 2 pounds, but that's probably the only other laptop that's kind of comparable in weight. And then the size, right, is just super tiny, super portable. So just for another size comparison, I have the iPad Pro 10.5 right here. So this is the 10.5 iPad Pro, and you can see that while the iPad Pro is still smaller, not by much actually. So it's pretty impressive that the VAIO SX12 is almost as small as the iPad Pro is, and the VAIO is a full-size like laptop, right? It has a full-size keyboard, runs full-blown Windows, so that's actually pretty dang impressive, right? Again, almost as small as the iPad Pro 10.5. Wow. right? If you're talking about around the $1,000 to $1,200 range for this laptop, it will be more if you go for the higher configurations, and which come in different colors, like the black one. They even made a limited edition like Kachi one, which is kind of blue and gold. It's a really striking color, but I think it's overpriced because it's like $2,000, and you wouldn't want to pay that much for a laptop with these specs. But I mean, even with the silver color, I think it's pretty good. $1,000 to $1,200 is a decent value. I know the specs are nothing outstanding, right? Just 8 gigs of RAM and 8th gen CPU. 512 SSD is actually more than what you get for this range. You usually get 256. But just you're paying for the form factor, right? The size, the portability, just so light, right? So yeah, that's the VAIO SX12. I'm not going to run it because it's just Windows 10, right? Nothing you haven't seen before, but I just want to go over how this laptop looks and tell you guys the form factor of this laptop, the keyboard, and yeah, just my general feelings from the first impressions looking at this laptop here. Yeah, that's how light it is. The fact that you can even compare it to a netbook is just shows you just how light and portable this laptop is. Yeah, I mean, obviously if you have an iPad mini or iPad Pro 11-incher, it's still going to be smaller than this, or you have a GPD P2 Max or GPD Pocket, but I don't consider those full-size laptops, or in the iPad's case, even a laptop at all, right? Or the Microsoft Surface Go, right? Because they're running different operating systems, and this one's running full-blown Windows 10 Pro. So I also think that the keyboard in this is very comparable to any full-size laptop. So yeah, that's the VAIO SX12, guys. Again, I recommend this laptop for people who are business travelers, for people who just want a very, very small, very portable laptop, and people who really appreciate ports, right? If you want ports, you got them in this laptop. And these days, not a lot of laptops have, I don't think any other laptop like of this size has this many ports in it. This is 9 ports in a 12-inch laptop of this size. That's just something you can't get anywhere else, right? I mean, if you look at the MacBook, if you look at the Dell XPS 13 2-in-1, even the HP Spectre X360, you're not going to find as many ports as you do in this laptop here, right? And maybe you might not need VGA, but who cares? At least you have it, right? It's an option. You don't have to use it. There's still HDMI as well. So, and Thunderbolt 3 as well. So, yeah, it just gives you a lot of options with this laptop. And yeah, I really like it so far. This is the VAIO SX12, the second VAIO laptop I've unboxed, but it's looking to be a winner. I do recommend it for people who are really looking for the most smallest and portable full-size laptop that you can get on the market, and useful as well due to all the different ports that you can get on this device. So that's it, guys. Please leave me any comments in the comment section below. Like my videos if you like them, subscribe if you love them. As always, thanks for watching.